everyone. I'm Jessica with that hashtag show, and I'm here with Tyler Spindel, who is the director of the new Netflix action comedy, The Outlaws. Tyler, to kick things off, tell me about how you got involved with the movie. What drew you to direct this project?
Well, I'd always wanted to do an action movie, and so when I read this script, I just saw the potential for some action sequences to be really, really cool. And I'd never heard this concept before, and I thought it was a really, really funny idea. And so when I read it, and I had known Adam Devine. We used to do stand up together when we were like 18, and so we'd always talked about doing something together. And so when he sent over the script and I read it and I knew it was going to be him starring in it. I was just like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. So I was lucky, really, really lucky to have it sent my way.
Now, I know you have a comedy background, but then what drew you to action? Why have you always wanted to direct an action movie?
No, they're my favorite movies. It's all I watch. I mean, literally, if you look at my Netflix queue, it's just action movie, action movie, action movie. I'm just such a nerd for that stuff. It's been my dream since I was a kid, and I don't know, I just like making stuff blow up.
Fair enough. And you get to do hit pretty much all the big beats, I think, of an action movie in this one too. You've got your hand-to-hand combat and your car
Uh,
chases, all of that kind of stuff. Did you have a favorite action moment to direct or one that was the most fun to shoot?
I mean, they were all really fun. I mean, doing hand-to-hand combat with, somebody who I've had their poster on my wall as a child, Pierce Brosnan was
Mhm.
definitely like a cool life moment. I mean, getting to destroy, well, I don't want to give too much away, but doing a car chase through a graveyard that was me and my writing partner came up with that idea, and we were just like, do you think they'll ever let us do this? And then we just kept pushing forward and pushing forward, and finally they said yes, and we're like, oh my god. And then we did it, and it was just really cool.
I was gonna say that is one of my favorite sequences. I was really really excited by that one. Uh, what do you think is the most important thing to bring to the table when you're directing a comedy, and especially when you're trying to straddle this action comedy line?
Hmm. I mean, for me, everybody's different. Everybody has different styles, but I like to, with comedy performances, I like to keep it really loose. I like to try a lot of different stuff. I like to improv. I like to riff. I like to try different, a lot of different jokes, like throwing the actors all different, like kind of the Apatow model. And then you go back in the edit and you kind of refine and go, oh, this is funny here. This is funny here. We've hit this a little too hard. So now we got a different option here. And then it's like, as far as with the action, it's just trying to keep the tone consistent, like trying to keep the action funny, like have a funny line here or there, pop in here for a joke, pop out for the for like, I wanted to keep the action pretty real, and intercut it with, some comedy. So that was the attempt.
Sure, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And then so you were talking about doing, like, all these different alternates and stuff, so did you have lots of alternate versions of, like, scenes and, like, spots in this film where you ended up, like, picking a certain direction to go in? A lot of changes on.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's like 5 other movies we could have cut here with different jokes. It's always that's the hardest part is like all those jokes that will never get seen and they are funny, and it's just you can only pick one. And but it's cool. It's like you go through testing where you'll come out with your first cut of the movie, and then you'll say, okay, this joke landed, this joke didn't land. Let's try, for anything that didn't land, let's try a different joke. And then you test it again and see if that joke landed and see which jokes are getting a better reaction from the audience. So that's why I like shooting that way, and I like having options, and just that way you get to really let the audience dictate what they like, and yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. How do you balance the like, the different humors and the different personalities that are coming into this? Because you have, like, the script that you started with, and your opinions and your feelings there on the day, and then anything that the actors, like, their instincts and what they wanna contribute. How do you find that balance? Is it just doing all of those alternates and sort of giving everybody their shot?
I mean, yeah, and the key is casting the right people because honestly, they just make me look good. It's like they're gonna go off and they're gonna riff and they're gonna be super funny and way funnier than the script ever was. And then I just get to sit back there and go, yeah, 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 do your thing, just do your thing. It's like we had Rel, who was just like the greatest improver ever, and I would just be like, all right, Rel, we hit the script, but now just make it great, just go do your thing. And then he would riff, and it would be like, oh, that's what we're using. The same thing with Lauren Lapkus and Devine, and I mean, we just Julie Haggerty and Richard. Richard would come in, Richard Kind would come on to set and be like, hey, I got an idea for this one. And when he would say that, I would just club because I knew it was going to be great.
You have a lot of very talented, very exciting people in this movie. Do you have any favorite on-set moments, maybe from the improving or just like hanging out together?
Um, I mean, the craziest moments were like Michael Rooker is the toughest person I've ever seen in my entire life. He tries to do his own stunts constantly, like even when we don't need him to. He is a tough human being. And one time he jumped into a car that was coming, and it was just like, Michael, we weren't even rolling yet. You could wait. And he is just a tough human being. I mean, he's the toughest guy I've ever met. He's an unbelievably, yeah. So that was one of them, but it was just a really fun time hanging out with everybody. And Pierce is so cool, and Devine couldn't be better, and Nina's just like a gem. And yeah, it was like became kind of like a family. It was nice. It was sad when it was over.
I believe it. Now, I know outside of directing, you previously acted in comedy films, you did stand-up comedy, like you were saying. Is there anything that you learned from your time in front of a camera, in front of an audience, that you then take and sort of try to use when you're directing?
Oh, 100%. I mean, stand up is the greatest training if you want to do anything comedic, because you just learn real quick what's funny and what's not. And people tell you, and you don't get a laugh. You don't want that to happen again. And so, yeah, you just learn about timing, you learn about performance, you learn delivery, and you learn, what people find is funny. And so I think that I mean, I still use the same stuff I learned back in the day doing stand up. And yeah, 100%.
Perfect. And final question, minute or less. Why should
Yes.
everybody go watch The Outlaws on Netflix?
Listen, it's fun, it's wild, it's silly, it's not meant to say anything. We just want you to go out there and have a good time and relax, and take 90 minutes and just not think about anything else, and just have some fun and watch a crazy, silly movie.
Perfect. Sounds good. All right, everybody go catch The Outlaws on Netflix, July 7th.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thanks, Tyler. Have a good day.
You too.